fellow industry experts, professionals, scientists, engineers, end users of welding products and services, and lovers of Africa. I am particularly delighted to be part of this historic event of this highly esteemed magnitude, the first TWF Annual Assembly and Conference, holding under the theme Welding and Allied Processes, Blueprint Africa. And I'm greatly honored to do the presentation on the theme Understand the Fundamentals of Fusion Welding, the Welding Engineer's Problem. I'm Dr. Yota of Fomba, General Manager and CEO of Dash Inspectorate Cameroon, and member of the Welder Training and Qualification Committee of the World Federation of Africa, TWF. I hold so many responsibilities in Cameroon. For industry development in Cameroon, I am partner of the government of Cameroon for sustainable industry development in Cameroon. Well, let's have this. Mindful of the fact that goods and services must meet specific requirements for customer satisfaction, that these goods and services must be realized in safe conditions and without damaging the environment, that specific procedures must be established for the realization of these goods and services, that the required personnel must be available for the realization of these goods and services, that these goods and services must be checked for compliance to applicable industry norms by qualified personnel in conformity to the applicable norm, that these tasks are requirements and must be fulfilled by companies involved in the realization of these goods and services to the satisfaction of quality stakeholders who include the governments, communities, suppliers, or public at large. Codes, standards, and specifications as industry norms rooted in science, engineering, technology have been established in different industry sectors according to different classes of work, so customers or end users consume products that are safe and offer satisfaction. Standardization through certification is a requirement for quality products, which if made national priority for industry development in all African nations to grow national content within the context of an integrated regional approach, shall speed up industry development in Africa, particularly in welding technology and manufacturing for industry growth in Africa. And just to go by what Mr. Ayu was saying yesterday, talking about development of local content, okay, it is actually replicating international content. It's not like we're saying that stop, okay, say no, okay, or reinventing what is already existing. Okay, I usually ask myself this question, okay, the question is this: why is it that the United States has been an all-time nation, giant nation on the planet? And I see the answer is very clear. It is thanks to industry in all industry sectors. And to go by the President of the Republic of Cameroon, President Paul Biya, this is what he says about industry. There is no great nation without a vibrant industry. That's Paul Biya, President of the Republic of Cameroon. Every nation relies on the industry for its social and economic stability. This industry is made of different industry sectors: oil and gas, petrochemicals, pharmaceuticals, maritime, aviation, automobile, food and agriculture, textile, etc. And these industry sectors are made of different classes of work: pipelines, oil tanks, earth-moving equipment, food processing, etc. Execution of tasks in these different industry sectors depend on skills. Thus, acquisition of these skills are an absolute requirement if execution of tasks in these different industry sectors is the order of the day. These skills must be properly impacted in conformity to industry norms, code standards, and specifications, and must be constantly monitored to ensure optimum service performance of industry personnel at all times. Thus, quality assurance that manufactured fabricated products and services are safe and offer satisfaction. In fact, the importance of training and certification following regular education cannot be overemphasized if we want to meet these industry objectives. The world today is rapidly advancing in science, engineering, and technology. Material science is rapidly evolving with constant development of new materials to address service criticality. An example, stainless steel materials are gradually giving way to the reinforced fiberglass materials, thus curbing the very worrisome corrosion problem typical of petrochemical, refinery upstream and downstream environments, etc. The industry sectors consume a lot of welding, thus the heavy demand of welding personnel, that is, you have the welders, the welding supervisors, the welding inspectors, the welding engineers, non-destructive inspectors, quality engineers, etc. The welding industry. Welding, the fusion of surfaces of two workpieces to form one, is a precise, reliable, cost-effective, and high-tech method of joining materials. The weld, which is a permanent coalescence formed between a joint during welding, must possess soundness to ensure structural integrity in order that the fabricated component shall perform in service to design specifications. No other technique is as widely used by manufacturers to join materials and alloys efficiently to add value to their products. Most of the familiar products or objects in modern society, from buildings and bridges to vehicles, computers, medical devices, and equipment, cannot be produced without the use of welding. Welding goes beyond the bounds of its simple description. Welding today is applied to a wide variety of materials and products, using such advanced technologies as lasers and plasma arcs. The future of welding holds even greater promise as methods are devised for joining dissimilar and non-metallic materials and for creating products of innovative shapes and designs. The welding industry consists of users of welding techniques as well as companies, universities, and other organizations that provide equipment, materials, processes, and support services for welding. Weld quality. Welding is a joining process that produces a local coalescence of materials by heating, by applying pressure, or both. In essence, the welding process fuses the surfaces of two distinct elements to form a single unit. It encompasses a broad range of joining techniques that include fusion welding, solid-state welding, welding bonding, diffusion welding, brazing, and soldering. As indicated earlier on, a weld, which is a permanent coalescence formed between a joint during welding process, must possess soundness to ensure structural integrity in order that the component shall perform in service according to its design specifications. This involves use of certified welders, the welding welding operators, who have the skill and technique to use welding processes in depositing sound welds according to a welding procedure specifications, which is a written document established by a manufacturer or fabricator's welding engineer that contains required variables to be respected in the realization of particular weld, tailored to a code or standard, and changes to which are not allowed. The respect of welding procedure specification is assurance that the realized weld possesses the required metallurgical structures, thus mechanical properties necessary for structural soundness and service performance of the manufactured or fabricated component. The welding procedure specification is supported by a procedure qualification record, a document that contains the verified and approved required welding variables by a third-party organization, for instance, that are employed during the welding of a test piece, the non-destructive destructive tests that were performed on the weld, and the results to indicate the procedure's ability to yield sound welds to the applicable code or standard. Many companies involved in fabrication, manufacturing, and construction are still to understand the importance and use of the welding procedure specification or procedure qualification records and certified personnel does, that is, the respect of quality, that is, codes and standards for quality. These manufacturers or fabricators rely on routine experience or try by error in the fabrication of weldments and components. In a world of rapidly evolving and advancing science, engineering, and technology, material science rapidly evolving and new materials constantly being produced to address service criticality. The non-respect of the welding procedure specification compromises structural soundness of the manufactured or fabricated component, leaving the safety of the client or purchaser at the mercy of the component. As such, as it can consequently fail, such as sudden collapse of a storage tank or a breach, sudden collapse of a building, sudden fracture of a repaired vehicle part, leakages in pipelines, or piping, etc., in service at any time without any warning signs. Great issues in the industry timeline which have put welding and material joining process into question. That is material mechanical properties like toughness, in fact, the importance of welding procedure qualifications. The sinking of the unsinkable ship which sank on its first voyage, that is the Titanic, in 14 April 1912. That you then had the failure of the Liberty ships during the Second World War, that's 1945. Okay, look at the failure there of the Titanic. What happened? Brittle fracture of rivet iron rivets, that is wrought iron rivets, and steel plates, that is which have high sulfur content. Never tested at zero temperatures for brittle fracture from impact. In the North Atlantic Sea dropped the temperatures to minus 28 degrees Fahrenheit, okay, causing brittle fracture. That is the unsinkable ship that sank on its first voyage on 14 April 1912. Then we have the Liberty failure of the Liberty ships. Okay, from that is 1941 to 1945, during the Second World War. So many ships were constructed, okay, at an alarming pace. Okay, failure of these ships related to brittle fracture. Okay, as temperatures in North Atlantic Sea dropped to near zero, really causing their brittle fracture. That is the doctor to brittle transition there. Total welding management. Total welding management is a system-focused approach on improvement in welding quality assurance. It includes management principles and a planning process with structured approach. When adopted by a company, it can improve welding quality and productivity, thus helping a company to become more competitive and more profitable. Companies involved in manufacturing, fabrication, construction are encouraged to adopt total welding management for the above benefits. To ensure the 5 welding dues of total welding total welding management, which are: 1. Reduce weld metal volume. 2. Reduce arc time per weldment. 3. Reduce rejects, rework, waste, and scrap. 4. Ensure work effort. 5. Reduce motion or delay time. Total welding management and total welding management that is for a company's resounding success in welding. This involves the procedure qualification record, the welding procedure specification, the welding performance qualifications. Okay, there is a case study here, okay, looking at to demonstrate the importance there of the respect of welding procedure specification. Okay, case study there using the bend test machine there to demonstrate the importance of fusion welding there in our components. Okay, you have the time to watch this video. Okay, okay, let's ride on. Welder performance qualification. Okay, or that is the welder certification test. Let's look at what that is. The welder qualification test is the verification of welder's ability to use a welding process to deposit sound welds following a welding procedure specification. Stage 1, you have the welding of the test coupon. Okay, you have the visual inspection. You have the mechanical tests that are performed. Okay, so contrary, you can have the volumetric test and the issuance of the certificate. Okay, look at the process there. Okay, the test can be done, okay, on pipe, okay, on plate. Okay, you have the visual inspection there. Okay, focusing there on the bend test. Okay, I'm laying emphasis there, that is demonstrating there the importance of the respect of the welding procedure specification, so we attend the mechanical properties that are desirable, okay, for in the deposit weld methods, okay, to meet the design specifications. So the importance of proper joint preparation and fit up for weld quality, weld joint geometry. A weld is radicalized across a joint, and this joint must be properly designed, prepared in accordance to the welding procedure specification, and proper fit up to mitigate any difficulty which the welder or welding operator might be subject to during the welding operation that will compromise the weld quality. So you must have, the first thing is for weld quality, you must have proper joint fit up, joint preparation and fit up, okay, in conformity to the welding procedure specification. Okay, there you have the execution of welding procedure specification that includes the execution of the electrical, particular use of the electrical characteristics to input just the required amount of heat, okay, into the joint. That is, in this case, for arc welding process, the use of the electrical parameters, which is very, very important, because we want to attain the depth of fusion. Okay, the depth of fusion should be attained. Controlled amount of heat input, that is the heat input there. Controlled amount of heat input into a joint during the welding process is imperative to cause the necessary fusion of the side walls, that is the side walls, the filler metal and the electrode to form the mass that is deposited across the joint, which is the weld. So we should be able to have our weld done, okay, that is depositing the weld metal in the joint, that is the welder doing the welding there, causing the necessary fusion, okay, along the side walls, okay, and attaining the depth of fusion. And all of this, to attain this, you must have the required heat input, okay, which is very important. All of this is documented in the welding procedure specification, which we saw earlier on, okay, which is there is attained by the use of the electrical parameters, okay. So because it needs to have the required depth of fusion, okay, that is expected of the joint. So you have there, okay, for the boot joints, okay, the depth of fusion there, okay. You have the angle joints, might be required to be attained, which is very, very important. Okay, let's look at the key drivers of the future of welding. The driving forces and issues. As the welding industry must meet the needs of its customers, it is driven by a number of key factors that shape its business strategy. These include the following: markets and customers, education and the workforce and the workforce's image, business practices and economics, development of information technology, quality, reliability and serviceability, integration of products and processes, development of materials, safety and health, new technological strategies, regulation, certification and standards. Strategic targets for welding industry for Africa or horizon, that is Africa 2063, the future of welding engineering technology for Africa. Let's look at the strategic targets. Targets, you can have: 1, cost and productivity; 2, technologies and processes; 3, quality standards; 4, materials performance; 5, markets and applications; 6, education and training; 7, energy, environment and health and safety. So in these areas, in these different targets, we have the different objectives that must be met, okay, and the related tasks that must be done. Okay, let's look at key competitive challenges. That is, looking at competitive challenges, okay, of the welding industry in Africa. In order to meet the ambitious strategic targets set forth, the welding community must be able to hurdle certain barriers or competitive challenges in the following areas: materials, manufacturing, integration, workforce integration, and quality. Let's look at the materials. As materials are developed with increasing strength, corrosion resistance, and other performance factors, welding them become more and more difficult. Filler metals, pre and post weld heat treatment, and other techniques make welding feasible in many cases, but at substantially increased cost. The challenge is to make these materials as easy to join as simple as carbon steels. The industry wants 95% of these materials commonly used today by manufacturers to have a corresponding alloy that can be welded very easily. That materials have good weldability. Advanced computational methods will be used to engineer materials that can be welded easily and consistently. Research will be needed on filler metals along with pure metallurgical research in order to understand the behavior of materials at the atomic level. For instance, solutions found to overcome the mechanical degradation of aluminum alloys by the welding process. With new level of understanding of metallurgy, the entire welding industry will benefit and progress. Part of gaining this additional knowledge will be close monitoring of the various products that feed into welding operations. These include the base metals, any filler metals, and gases. Another challenge will be to ensure welds of dissimilar materials will be constantly cosmetically acceptable to customers as well as high in quality. The appearance of welds to be ongoing consideration for some manufacturers. Advances are made in information technology in order to have smart materials ready to use from 2020 and above. With computer chips embedded into materials, there will be significant opportunities to program and control subsequent welding operations. This new technology will be exploited by product engineers, manufacturers, and welders to improve the entire manufacturing cycle. Product design, development, and manufacturing integration. The virtual factory is a term that will be heard frequently over the next 20 years as computer modeling and simulation tools become commonplace in welding operations. Welding will move from being an art to being a manufacturing science with the help of computers. The virtual factory will occur with welding technologies when welding technologies go outside the traditional scope of welding to better understand, control, and automate welding processes. Modeling will help workers predict what the welding process will be robust and the conditions under which it becomes distorted. Designers will also contribute to the virtual factory. They are accustomed to using simulation tools in designing products and processes for manufacturers. These tools also allow welds to be modeled. These models can then be integrated into more comprehensive informational systems used in manufacturing. By integrating welding operations with product design and other manufacturing steps, the welding stage will no longer be isolated from the entire manufacturing process. The image of joining as the weakest link in any product must disappear, as it becomes an important but routine step during manufacturing. All manufacturers look for ways to improve their productivity, to get the product out of door faster, cheaper, and better. Manufacturing integration will help reduce the time required from conception to production. Among the techniques foreseen are integration of design, sensing, and process control, and development of modular processing equipment to ensure compatibility of various systems. The effectiveness of welding is a vocation and engineering profession meant to improve. Industry believes that success meeting these challenges will be important in determining how Africa in the world markets. A workforce that is appropriately educated at all levels will drive a technological revolution in welding in Africa. The prestige and promise of welding as a career will grow as welders are certified to guarantee their compatibilities, and engineers gain greater appreciation of the practical potential use of welding. Multidisciplinary teams will provide a supply to necessary talents from design to engineer to operator to welder. Workforce integration to see customers, manufacturers, educators, and possibly the government collaborating and developing ideas for new products and ways of using welding techniques. The community amongst these various experts will be key in moving barriers to smooth manufacturing operation. For example, with customers more knowledgeable and aware of the welding process, there will be greater participation by customers in new product and development and in exploiting potential of welding. Engineers who are working side by side with welding technologies will better understand the importance of their role in manufacturing. New welding-related knowledge must be widely disseminated among all interested parties, and a better educated workforce and the team approach in manufacturing will help meet this challenge. The number of qualified workers is not increasing at the right pace at the moment, and a key challenge to reverse the trend and provide adequate human resources to meet the needs of tomorrow's welding industry. A stable and growing workforce will be needed in the new century. Quality. Improvement in the quality and reliability of joints will help overcome the image problem of the welded joint, a link in any structure. For the industry to move ahead, it must remove the perception of manufacturers, customers, and others that welding is a barrier to a smooth manufacturing process. Another challenge is that academia typically does not accept primary materials and the primary production industries as worthwhile academic pursuits. Faculty and students are not entering the field. The academic expertise in these disciplines will eventually be non-existent. Again, a better understanding of the quality and usefulness of welded metals products will help overcome this negative perception. Processing research, artificial intelligence and robotics, advanced materials and other developments outside the traditional scope of welding can all be applied to make dramatic improvements in welds. As the quality and reliability of welded components or products improve, their safety will also increase. There must be no opportunity for welded components or products to have a potentially negative impact on customers. Manufactured fabricated weldments or products with welding as a joint method must be safe and perform in service according to design specifications. Welding industry personnel, education, training, and certification. The welding sector, like every other sector, requires competent personnel for its operations, and these industry personnel who are involved in the science, engineering, and technology of welding must have sound education, properly trained and certified. The universities, polytechnics, vocational centers have an important role of training. However, third-party organizations such as you have Dash Inspector, for instance, you have the Welding Federation for Africa, American Welding Society, you have host of the third-party organizations have played a unique role for training and certification. Education versus training. In teaching and improving professional competence, education should not be confused with training, as they apply to different aspects of developing welding professionals. The etymology of the word education clarifies the difference. According to Webster's Dictionary, reference 1, the word comes to us from the Latin word educare, meaning to rear, to lead forth, to draw out something of potential. It can also mean to pursue or condition to feel, believe, or act in a particular way. The implication is that education can be practiced at home, primary, secondary, and post-secondary schools. On the other hand, the etymology of training is rooted in the Latin word tragicere, reference 1, and means to undergo instructions, discipline, or drill. Webster's dictionary also defines training as the act, process, or method to impart knowledge or experience to acquire or teach fit, qualified, or profession. This teaching type refers to a particular set of skills. This does not mean that one is better than the other. It simply means that education is more comprehensive than training. As in teaching a subject, for example, culinary arts, training means to teach somebody or to teach someone to cook by following recipes. While education is equivalent to the culture to cultivate in someone the talent to create new recipes and write new cookbooks, even when not all ingredients are available. Consequently, if the welding industry in Africa should grow to meet Africa's manufacturing needs, then focus must be laid on proper training and certification. And TWF and its harmonized training and certification programs offer just the ready solution. I rest my case. Thanks so very much.